Build your dreams, live rich, and leave
Welcome
rich.
to Live Rich and Leave Rich by Krish. You know the stock market? For so many people, that phrase just brings up these images of complicated charts, numbers flashing everywhere, and a language that feels, well, impossible to learn. But what if I told you we could just sweep all of that confusion away? Today, we're going to understand the whole thing, not with spreadsheets and jargon, but with a single, really powerful story. And this is really where the trouble starts, isn't it? We hear a tip from a friend, we see some headline, or we just kind of follow the crowd because, it seems like the easy thing to do. We're basically on financial autopilot. But making decisions by default, especially with our hard-earned money, that's like trying to navigate a brand new city without a map. You're pretty much bound to get lost. So let's get that map. I want you to forget all the technical terms, just for a moment. We're going to build your understanding right from the ground up, with an analogy that's so simple, so intuitive, you'll honestly wonder why no one ever explained it this way before. Ready? Okay, let's dive in. I want you to picture something. And no, it's not a trading floor. It's a vast, sun-drenched countryside. And this countryside is just filled with thousands and thousands of farms. Each one of those farms is a business. Our story begins on one of those plots of land with one simple goal: to grow the absolute best mangoes in the entire country. Every massive company that we know today, think Apple, think Reliance, you name it, it started just like this, as an idea, a single, tiny seed of potential. And it really takes a special kind of person to look at a tiny seed and see a whole future orchard. And that person is the founder. So here's the key. The founder is our farmer. They're the one with a big vision and, honestly, the courage to go for it. They're the one who clears the land, takes that initial risk, plants that very first sapling, and just pours everything they have into helping it grow, protecting it from storms, and seeing it through every season. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The farm starts doing well, but to get even bigger, our farmer needs more resources. So he comes to you and offers you a chance to partner up. He says, "Hey, I'll sell you a small piece of my farm. That little piece, that's a stock." So when you buy it, you're not just buying a blinking number on a screen, no way. You are literally buying a few trees on that mango farm. You become a part owner, and you get a share of all the mangoes, all the profits that farm produces from that day on. Okay, so we've got one farm down, but the stock market isn't just one farm, right? It's thousands of them. So let's zoom out a bit and see how this all connects to the bigger picture. And this is it. This is the big idea. The stock market is that entire countryside. You've got technology farms over here growing software, automobile farms building cars, pharmaceutical farms over there developing medicines. Every single one is a business that you can own a piece of, and each one has its own unique potential and, of course, its own set of challenges. Now imagine in the middle of this huge, bustling countryside, there's a really exclusive farmers market. And only the 50 biggest, most successful, most respected farms are even allowed to sell their stuff here. That is exactly what an index like the Nifty 50 is. It's not the whole countryside, but it's a curated snapshot of the very best of the best, and it gives you a really quick sense of how the whole farming economy is doing. So now that you're in this countryside, you've got a really critical choice to make. And this choice, it defines your entire experience. Are you here to be a patient farmer, someone who's cultivating their land for the long haul? Or are you a tourist, just kind of passing through for a quick picture and a little bit of excitement? This distinction, it changes everything. And this just brilliantly illustrates the difference, doesn't it? The farmer, our true investor, they learn the land, they study the weather patterns, they understand the risks of drought or pests, and they think in seasons, years, even decades. So when a bad storm comes and prices fall, they don't panic and sell. They see it as a sale, a chance to buy even more trees at a discount. The tourist, on the other hand, our trader, they just want a thrill. They make bets without really understanding the business, and they are the very first to run for the bus at the slightest hint of rain. This is a tough one, but it's a hard truth we need to hear. So many people who are jumping in and out of stocks, chasing those quick profits, they actually believe they are investing, but they're not. They're playing the tourist's game. True investing is farming. It's patient, it's deliberate, and it's always focused on the long-term harvest.
So, once you decide on your mindset, farmer or tourist, you've got to pick how you're going to get around this vast countryside. And believe me, your choice of vehicle matters a lot.
So, picking your own stocks? That's like riding a powerful motorcycle. The freedom is exhilarating, right? You're in complete control of every move, every turn, every acceleration. But That road is full of potholes and unexpected traffic, and without some serious skill, deep research, and the discipline to wear your helmet every single time, a crash is almost inevitable. Honestly, very, very few people, we're talking maybe 1%, can truly master this ride for the long term.
And let's be real, that's like 99% of us, isn't it? We have jobs, we have families, we have lives to lead. We can't spend 8 hours a day analyzing soil reports or practicing on some racetrack. So does that just lock us out of the journey? Not at all.
Because you don't have to navigate these tricky roads all by yourself. There's a safer, much more reliable way for most people to travel through this countryside. You can just take the bus.
A mutual fund, well, that's the bus. It's where you and hundreds of other passengers all chip in a little money for the fare. By pooling your resources together, you get to ride on this sturdy, well-maintained vehicle that can handle the bumps in the road way better than a motorcycle ever could. You share the journey, and you share the safety.
And you know the best part? You don't even have to drive. At the wheel is a professional, the fund manager. This is your expert driver. They have the maps, they've studied the road conditions for years, and their one and only job is to navigate the market safely and efficiently to get all the passengers to their financial destination.
But here's the thing. Whether you choose to ride the bus or you decide to brave the motorcycle, the most successful people in the market all share one thing in common. They think like a farmer. So let's look at the simple, timeless tools that they all use.
A smart farmer would never just randomly throw seeds on the ground. No. First, they check the soil. Are the company's finances strong and healthy? Then, they study the weather. What's going on in the broader economy? They also get to know the person running the farm. Is the management team honest? Are they competent? And most importantly, they are patient. They plant the seeds, and then they let them grow. Because they know the real harvest comes season after season, not overnight.
If you take away only one idea today, please let it be this one. A stock is not a lottery ticket you buy while hoping for the best. It is a small part of a real operating business. And if you don't understand that business, its products, its leaders, its finances, then you're not investing. You're just gambling.
And in the end, that's the fundamental truth of the market. Over the long term, it is a mechanism that systematically moves wealth away from the tourists, the emotional, the impatient, the gamblers, and it transfers it directly to the farmers, the educated, the patient, and the disciplined. The choice of who you want to be, well, that's entirely up to you.
We've used a simple story to cover the big basics today, but this whole countryside of farms is vast and filled with all sorts of details. So what other complex area feels confusing to you? Is it options? Futures? Maybe how to read a company's financial reports? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. What should we simplify next?
If this story helped clear things up for you, the absolute best way to say thanks is to subscribe, like this explainer, and share it with someone you know who's just starting out on their journey. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, live rich and leave rich.